Torrential rain cascaded over the deserted highway, shrouding the autumn evening in a mist of headlights and uncertainty. Laura Bennett clutched the steering wheel of her elegant sedan, her fingers trembling as she maneuvered to the roadside. For the past 10 miles, the engine had produced strange noises, and now it had entirely ceased functioning. At 35 years old, Laura had sculpted a life of control and accomplishment. As the leader of Bennett Innovations, she commanded corporate boardrooms and made multi-million-dollar decisions with unwavering confidence. Yet tonight, soaked through her sophisticated cream dress, she felt more vulnerable than ever in her life. Her 5-year-old daughter, Lily, sat quietly in the rear seat, clutching her worn stuffed bear and observing her mother with anxious blue eyes. Lily had been unusually subdued during their journey from the courthouse, sensing something momentous had transpired, though too young to comprehend the legal proceedings just concluded. "Mummy, why's our car stopped?" Lily asked softly, her voice barely audible over the rain's relentless patter against the windows. Laura turned to face her daughter, striving to keep her tone steady and reassuring. "The car's having some trouble, darling. We'll figure it out soon." But deep inside, Laura felt her carefully constructed world disintegrating around her. That afternoon's court ruling had been utterly devastating. Her business partner had won a lawsuit for control of the company she'd built over 8 long years. Her finances were frozen, her reputation lay in tatters, and bankruptcy loomed ominously. The luxurious car they sat in would likely be repossessed within days. As if mirroring her despair, headlights pierced through the rain behind them. A pickup truck pulled over, and Laura watched cautiously as a man stepped into the downpour. He was tall, broad-shouldered, clad in work clothes that quickly became saturated. Despite the storm, he moved with calm, unhurried assurance toward their vehicle. Laura lowered her window slightly as he approached. Raindrops speckled her face as she gazed up at him. "Good evening," the man said, his voice warm despite the chilling rain. "I'm Ethan Carter. I noticed you stopped here and thought you might need assistance." At 38, Ethan's calloused hands revealed a life of daily work with tools and engines. His dark hair was matted by the rain, but his eyes held a gentle kindness that instantly eased Laura's apprehension. "I'm Laura," she replied, striving to maintain dignity despite her dire circumstances. "The engine just stopped working. I'm unsure what happened." Ethan nodded thoughtfully. "Would you mind if I inspect under the hood? Sometimes these issues are simpler than they appear." Laura hesitated briefly, then nodded. She had neither options, and Ethan's tranquil demeanor inspired trust. As Ethan lifted the hood and examined the engine with a small flashlight, Lily leaned forward in her seat. "Mommy, is that man going to repair our car?" "I hope so, darling," Laura responded, watching Ethan's practiced movements with hope. After several minutes, Ethan returned to her window, rain dripping from his jacket. "Good news, it's not too severe. Your alternator belt has snapped. Bad news, you'll need a tow to get it properly repaired." Laura's heart plummeted. She lacked funds for expensive repairs, let alone a tow truck. The weight of her situation overwhelmed her, and tears mingled with the raindrops on her cheeks. "I understand," she managed to say quietly. "Thank you for checking." Ethan noticed the tremor in her voice and leaned down slightly. "Are you all right?" That simple, heartfelt question broke through the emotional wall Laura had built all day. Tears flowed freely now, and she found herself voicing words she hadn't meant to share. "I lost everything today," she whispered, her voice breaking with anguish. "My business, my home, my future, everything I worked for is gone." Lily, hearing her mother's sobs, unbuckled her seatbelt and climbed into the front seat. She wrapped her small arms around Laura's shoulders, offering pure, childlike comfort. Ethan stood quietly in the rain, taking in the poignant scene before him. He saw a woman shattered by a devastating day and a little girl trying to console her mother with unconditional love. Laura, Ethan said gently. "May I say something?" Laura looked up through her tears, nodding faintly. Ethan's voice was soft but resolute. "You still have her." He gestured toward Lily, who was tenderly stroking her mother's hair with tiny, comforting hands. "And she has you. That's not nothing. It's everything." Laura felt a warmth kindle in her chest. This stranger, this compassionate man who, stopped in the rain, had reminded her of a vital truth she'd lost sight of in her darkest hour. "You're right," she murmured, pulling Lily closer. "You're absolutely right," Ethan offered a gentle smile. "Here's an idea. I have a tow truck back at my garage, and I keep a few alternator belts in stock. Why don't I drive you and Lily to a warm, dry place, and we'll sort out your car tomorrow morning? No charge." Laura started to protest, but Ethan raised a hand. "My grandmother always taught me that kindness is a circle. When someone helps you, you pass it on to another. Tonight, let me help you. Someday when you're back on your feet, you can help someone else." 20 minutes later, Laura and Lily sat in the cozy warmth of Ethan's small garage office, sharing hot cocoa from a thermos. Lily had fallen asleep on a small couch, her bear tucked under her chin, finally at peace after the long, trying day. "Ethan," Laura said as they waited, "I don't know how to thank you. Today was the worst day of my life, but your kindness has reminded me of what truly matters." Ethan glanced at sleeping Lily, then back at Laura. 3 years ago, I lost my wife and daughter in a car accident. It taught me that the love we share with those who matter most is the only thing that truly counts. Everything else can be rebuilt." Laura's heart ached for this man who had endured such profound loss, yet still found the strength to help others. "I'm so sorry, Ethan. How do you find the courage to keep going?" "The same way you will," Ethan replied simply. "One day at a time, focusing on what remains instead of what's lost. You have a precious daughter who loves you completely. That's a foundation you can build anything upon." Over the following months, Laura discovered Ethan was right. Losing her company had been crushing, but it also freed her to reconsider what she truly valued in life. She found work as a consultant, helping small businesses grow and succeed. The job paid less than her former role, but it allowed her more time with Lily and gave her purpose in supporting others' dreams. Ethan became a dear friend to both of them. He repaired their car without charge, but more importantly, he showed them what true strength looked like. Lily adored him, and Laura found in him a steady, gentle presence that helped her rebuild her confidence and her life. 1 year after that rainy night, Laura stood in the parking lot of Ethan's garage, watching Lily help him organize his stools. She had just signed the papers to start her own consulting firm. The first person she wanted to tell was the man who'd reminded her of her own worth when she'd forgotten it entirely. "Ethan," she called out, "I have some news to share." He looked up from the engine he was working on, wiping his hands on a rag. "Good news, I hope." Laura beamed, a bright smile that had slowly returned to her face over the past year. "The best news. I'm launching my own business, a genuine one this time, built on the right foundation." Ethan grinned and gave her a warm hug. "I knew you'd find your way back. You had everything you needed all along." Lily ran over and wrapped her arms around both of them. "Are we celebrating? Can we have ice cream?" Laura laughed, lifting her daughter into her arms. "Yes, darling, we're definitely celebrating." As they walked toward Ethan's truck to get ice cream, Laura reflected on how much had changed since that terrible rainy night. She'd lost her company, her house, and her savings, but Ethan had been right about the most important thing. She still had Lily, and Lily had her. Everything else had been rebuilt around that unshakable foundation of love. Sometimes, Laura thought, you must lose everything to discover what you truly cannot live without. And sometimes it takes a stranger's kindness to remind you that love is the only wealth that really matters.